Have you ever wondered what life is really like in North Korea? North Korea, a land often shrouded in mystery, intrigue, and speculation. It's a nation that has been consistently under the global spotlight, yet remains one of the least understood countries on Earth. This enigmatic nation, tucked away in the far reaches of East Asia, is often perceived as a secretive and restrictive state. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, as it is officially known, is a place where the flow of information is not as free as in other parts of the world. The government, under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, maintains a tight grip on the dissemination of information, both within and outside its borders. This control over information often leads to a skewed perception of the country, painting a picture that may not fully reflect the reality of life for its 25 million residents. What we hear about North Korea often comes through a lens of political agendas and sensational headlines. Stories of nuclear threats, military parades, and the cult of personality surrounding its leaders are omnipresent. Yet these narratives, as gripping as they are, only scratch the surface of North Korea's complex socio-political landscape. They fail to delve into the lives of ordinary citizens, their dreams, their struggles, their experiences. It's important to note that the information we receive about North Korea is often tainted by this control and manipulation, making it challenging to separate fact from propaganda. This difficulty in obtaining unbiased information leads to a lack of understanding about what life in North Korea is truly like. But what if we could peel back this iron curtain? What if we could look beyond the headlines, beyond the political posturing, to understand the real North Korea, to see the country through the eyes of its people, rather than through the lens of geopolitics or sensationalized news? So let's delve deeper beyond the headlines to understand the real North Korea. Let's embark on this journey to demystify this enigmatic nation, to uncover the stories that are seldom told, the voices that are rarely heard. Let's discover life behind the Iron Curtain. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, is a unique country in many ways. In the heart of its political landscape, we find a structure deeply rooted in the absolute power of the Kim dynasty. This power has been passed down through 3 generations, from Kim Il-sung to Kim Jong-il, and now to Kim Jong-un. This dynasty, much like a monarchy, holds an iron grip over the nation's politics, and in many ways, its people's everyday life. The system is organized in a way that concentrates authority in the hands of the supreme leader, who is not only the head of state but also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, effectively merging the political and military sectors. In addition to the power vested in one family, North Korea operates under a strict system of political control. The Workers' Party of Korea, the ruling party, controls every aspect of political life. Its influence extends to the smallest units of society, fostering a culture of loyalty and obedience to the state. But what gives this political landscape its unique hue is the philosophy of yuche, or self-reliance. Introduced by Kim Il-sung, the philosophy emphasizes independence in thought and action, rejecting dependence on others. It has shaped North Korea's approach to its international relations, its economy, and the mindset of its people. Juche's core tenet of self-reliance can be seen in the country's isolationist policies. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons, despite international condemnation, is often viewed as an extension of this principle. It's a stark reminder of the lengths the regime will go to maintain its independence and control. However, the philosophy of self-reliance has its downsides. On the one hand, it has led to North Korea's isolation from the global community, and on the other, it has resulted in harsh living conditions for its citizens. Despite its name, there is little that is democratic about the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. It's a country where power has been centralized and absolute, where the political landscape is as rigid as it is unique. It's a landscape shaped by a dynasty, stringent control, and a philosophy of self-reliance. For the average North Korean, life is a mix of work, family, and compulsory reverence to the state. Each day in North Korea starts early, with the sound of a wake-up call ringing through the streets, a melody that's been the same for decades. For adults, the workday begins. For kids, it's off to school. Work in North Korea is usually assigned by the state, and the jobs range from farming to factory work to more specialized roles for those with the right qualifications. School, on the other hand, is a blend of academics and indoctrination. Children learn math, science, languages, and history. But they also learn about the Kim dynasty, the leaders who have shaped the country since its inception. This education, heavy with propaganda, is a cornerstone of life in North Korea. After work and school, it's home to family. Despite the harsh realities, family is a source of comfort and support. Family meals are a time for sharing the day's stories and bonding. But even within the sanctity of home, the state's presence is felt. Televisions and radios are pre-tuned to state-run channels, and changing the station can lead to severe consequences. The internet, as we know it, is virtually non-existent in North Korea. Instead, there's a state-controlled intranet providing carefully curated content. Outside news is a rarity, and any found in possession of foreign films or music can face harsh punishment. Throughout the day, the state's propaganda is omnipresent, from murals and billboards to the daily news bulletins. It's not just about promoting the state's achievements, but also about instilling a sense of fear and respect for the regime. Yet, amidst these restrictions, North Koreans find joy in simple pleasures like picnics by the river, playing sports, or attending state-sanctioned concerts. Life in North Korea is far from what most of us know. It's a life of routine, regulation, and respect for the state. But it's also a life of resilience, of people finding ways to thrive despite the circumstances. It's a life of routine, regulation, and respect for the state. The issue of human rights is a constant concern when discussing North Korea. This hermit kingdom is known for its blatant disregard for human rights. So severe are these abuses, they have been compared to those committed by the Nazis during World War II. Let's start with political prison camps. It's estimated that between 80,000 to 120,000 people are currently held in these camps. The conditions are brutal. Prisoners are subjected to forced labor, torture, starvation, and even execution. Families are often incarcerated together, with 3 generations sometimes suffering for the perceived political crimes of a single relative. The intent is not just punishment, but eradication of unwanted elements from society. Public executions are another grim reality. They serve as a terrifying deterrent, reminding citizens of the consequences of disobedience. Crimes that could warrant such a punishment vary from murder to seemingly minor offenses like stealing food during periods of famine. Restrictions on freedom of expression and movement are also pervasive. There is no independent media. All information is controlled by the state. Internet access is limited to a select few, and even then it's heavily censored. Criticism of the government or its leaders is strictly prohibited and can lead to severe punishment, including imprisonment. Movement within the country is also tightly controlled. Citizens need permission to travel outside their hometowns. Foreign travel is almost unheard of, with very few North Koreans allowed to leave the country. These reports come from defectors and international human rights organizations who face the challenge of gathering information from a country that is largely closed off from the rest of the world. Yet, despite the mounting evidence and international condemnation, the North Korean government continues to deny these abuses. They claim that any reports of human rights violations are fabrications by hostile countries aimed at destabilizing the regime. Despite these reports, the North Korean government continues to deny any human rights abuses. The future of North Korea is uncertain, but the resilience of its people is clear. As we gaze into the crystal ball, various possibilities emerge for this enigmatic nation. One potential shift on the horizon is an increased influence from the outside world. Technology, that great disruptor, has been slowly penetrating North Korea's walls of isolation. Smuggled DVDs, USB drives, and even illicit mobile phones are gradually bringing in glimpses of the world beyond. This influx of information could potentially stir a change in the mindset of the North Korean populace, perhaps even sparking demands for reform. Yet change is a slow dance, particularly in nations as steadfastly guarded as North Korea. The government's iron grip on information flow is unlikely to loosen overnight. Nevertheless, the seeds of transformation once sown may prove difficult to suppress entirely. The resilience and adaptability of the North Korean people might just be the catalyst that propels this change. Resilience is a trait deeply ingrained in the North Korean people. They've weathered famines, economic hardships, and political upheavals. Their ability to adapt and survive in the face of adversity is a testament to their indomitable spirit. This resilience could play a crucial role in shaping the future of North Korea. For instance, the entrepreneurial spirit seen in the informal markets known as Jangmadang is a beacon of this adaptability. Born out of necessity during the devastating famines of the 90s, these markets have now become an integral part of North Korean society. While the road to change might be long and arduous, the resilience of the North Korean people gives us hope. Their adaptability, their strength, and their unyielding spirit are the wild cards that might just tilt the scales towards a brighter future. In the game of predicting futures, there are no guarantees. We can only hope that the resilience and adaptability we've seen in the North Korean people will lead to positive changes. While the future is uncertain, one thing is clear: the spirit of the North Korean people remains unbroken.